On the issue of monism or having many gods, well, it's not an exclusive option. There are alternative understandings of how each can be. And not to mention the third option of no God at all, which in some sense, I was going to say might be the state of primitive man, but primitive man seems to make his own gods pretty fast. It's not that you can't have free will with a all-powerful mystic God. Free will is a question of degree. Only an all-powerful person could avail himself of complete free will. But typically we understand it in this universe at least that one option taken can exclude others, in which case you're not free to have both. We consider it a rational impossibility to both be and not be at the same time. I can't choose both. I could choose perhaps to be one or the other, but not both. There'd be a contradiction. Meaningless result. A stone rolling down a cliff hits a boulder and bounces off in a certain way, and if we know the laws of physics, we can say which way it will bounce, and etc. and so forth. It's not free. But you walking down the hill can choose one path or another. You might choose one, and then you realise the way is blocked. You say, oh, I'm not free to take that. Right. So take the other. But then further down the hill, there's another choice. And you take one or the other. And you find, well, in fact, they both may have been free this time. You did have freedom. I didn't have infinite freedom. And I might choose not to avail myself of the freedom. That would be a freedom as well. I might choose to give my kids the freedom to spend their pocket money as they wish, but with constraint. You can't buy cigarettes, drink or drugs. That's reasonable, isn't it? Don't want my 11-year-old doing that sort of thing. Is she free to choose sweets or save up for a computer? Yeah, of course. So, we're impoverished by our inability to think comprehensively, aren't we? We're very limited in our command of reason and logic. And you find this in conversation. You can always pick holes in an argument by saying, well, it depends what you mean by. And the whole thing gets so watered down, the conversation's got nowhere. You end up solving something that you weren't interested in the beginning, and you haven't solved what you were purposed to solve, and so on. God may find it very helpful to have good and evil in this world, and to suffer certain consequences accordingly. They're transitory. They're contained, and they're not perhaps invading the realm of heaven. The school is contained. Kids are playing in the playground, they're very noisy, and they're not terribly nice to each other, but they're not out there on the streets breaking into shops and robbing old ladies and so on. The The school contains it. And for a very good purpose. That they become, given the school curriculum, wonderful adults. I may be an all-powerful God and love delegating it to the kids. You're in charge of the garden, sweetheart. You make decisions on that. You're in charge of the cooking. Yep, lovely, darling. Oh, just super. You do it. Well, yeah, I like so-and-so, but whatever you like, whatever you wish. Do you see it's not? We don't like power because we've suffered from abuse of power. But when power is used lovingly, it's simply wonderful. And you might delegate to those that are reliable, and they may make mistakes. That's all right, we'll put that right. Not going to do it again, are you? No, of course not. Do you see? We're very narrow in our view of what loveliness can be. We suffer from a myopic view of the failure to achieve goodness. And when we open our eyes and we realize the incredible number of blessings we have, hourly, not just daily, wonderful blessings, then we start to realize that we're not interested in whether all things are possible with God or whether He's all-powerful or not. We're just overwhelmed with how good He is. My wife doesn't have to be perfect to love her. She appreciates me when she does. If I have such a wife. I haven't at the minute, but most of my life I have. And most of my life I've felt appreciated much by the woman I was married to. Whoever it was, you understand? And that was just lovely. Thank you, Dad. But to get back to my point. What was my point? Hang on a minute. It's the issue of monism. Can you have one all-powerful God and free will of his subjects? Well, probably not put like that. But we're not subjects. We're his children. That's quite different. It's a loving relationship, not a formal worldly imposition relationship. I and my Father are one. He has me in on the decision. All things that I've heard of my Father I've shared with you, says Jesus in the story. He loves you as He loves me. Now, how does a good parent make decisions? Lovingly. And He's good at doing decision making. And I can tell you we're good at deferring to His decision too. We'd be mad not to. He makes such wonderful decisions. Of course, nobody wants to be under a tyrant. We're not saying God is a tyrant. We're saying He's wonderful. Oh, well, that's all right then, isn't it? The threat of His omnipotence, His power, is no longer a threat. It's irrelevant, in fact. He doesn't exercise His power in that way. His freedom is to choose to love. And our response is to do the same back. We reflect His glory to Him. Because we're His kids. We love being with Him, and He loves being with us. Thank you, Dad. Oh, listening to that again, and I just heard the birds singing in the background. I don't know if you noticed it. And I'm just touched by His presence. You need that, and we need never to be without it. To be with Him, aware of Him, is everything. John 17, this is life eternal, to know Thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, the way whom Thou hast sent. It's jargon, it's religion, it's theology. But it's got something that's so true about it as well. You have to put it in your own language, your own relationship. It seems cold and dead and don't even get the meaning otherwise. But to just know He's with you and loves you. To know His love. You know these people that get near-death experiences? The ones we hear about anyway. Overwhelmed by the presence of the love. They explain it as unconditional love. I know what they mean in a sense. It's just love. Like when you see a mum with her baby and the whole world's singing to her. She's in the beauty of caring for her own baby. My second wife was overcome like that. At one point I saw her standing in church one Sunday. She had baby in her arms, and you just knew she was filled with overwhelming gratitude to God for this little soul in her arms. Her little soul. Unspeakably lovely. You have no idea how much God loves you. None of us realize how much God loves us. If we did, we would be overwhelmingly enslaved. So He keeps that realization from us, that we might come to know truly what we value unto life eternal. He touched me, yes, He touched me, and oh, the joy that fills my soul. Something happened, and now I know He touched me and made me whole. Bless you.